How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I want to talk to you today about a sector that I think is really sold off and might do really well over the next couple months and over the next couple years. Now, I think there are short-term catalysts and long-term catalysts for this one, and I'm pretty bullish. I have a larger position in this than I have in a lot of other sectors. Years down the line, people will want to invest in it because they see how well it's doing. And if we can get in before that, I think our portfolios will do quite well. Now, this sector is the space sector. Now, there are a lot of different companies out there that are now going public. They're SPAC companies that are in the space sector. And a lot of them did quite well recently for a couple different reasons. First of all, the SPAC sector in general was doing quite well until the last month or so. And second of all, they did really well because ARK Invest said that they were going to come out with a space ETF. Now, a lot of us didn't really know when this was going to take place, but a lot of people now are thinking that the earliest it could happen is March 31st. Now, I'm not saying that it will happen. I'm not saying that they will come out with a space ETF on the 31st of March, but that's pretty close. That's pretty soon. Either way, let's say that it takes a couple more months. I think there will be a big portion of investors, a big segment of investors that want to move their money to some space companies. You know, it's the way of the future. It doesn't get much more growth oriented than the space sector. Now, I want to go over some space stocks that I think are interesting companies. A lot of them actually have government contracts already. Some of them already have revenues. Some have no revenues and are 4 or 5 years out away from that. Some have big partnerships with Uber. Some have a really interesting valuation. So a lot of these also are SPACs. So take that into account. Some of them are near net asset value or NAV, around $10. They are really interesting where they're sitting now, especially with the fact that SPACs in general have sold off. And with this catalyst of ARK's next ETF possibly coming out soon, a lot of them could get a lot of attention. So first of all, just know I'm not a financial advisor. This is not stock advice. This is not financial advice. But I want to go through some of them today because, again, I want you guys to take a look at them before they expand and blow up in value, especially because some of them pretty much have no downside with the price that they're at now and with the fact that the SPAC merge is going to happen months from now. If you guys want, there is a link down there to WeBull to get some free stocks, and there's a link down there to BlockFi in case you want some interest on your cryptocurrency. There's also a link down there to the Patreon in case you want to get in and see what I'm buying and when. Some of these stocks we bought near $10.30, which is a really good price because it's near net asset value. I've talked about that before, but it protects them in the short term. So if you guys want to see what I'm buying and when, you can check out the link down below to Patreon. Also, you can join our group of 4,000 investors, our community of 4,000 investors, and get in on that. The last thing that I want to hit on before we go into it is this is not like a major breakdown. I know some people will just give me a hard time because I'm not going super in depth in these companies. However, I've done full videos on probably all of these before, or at least talked about them significantly before. Some of them I've done multiple videos on. So you can definitely search through the channel to see the full videos on these before that I've made. This is just a little bit of each of these companies I want to talk about just to bring them to your attention again. Now, the first company is Helicity, which is merging with Astra. You can see that they've gone down about 34% over the last month. This company is not quite near net asset value, but it's still around the $12 mark. They are focused on mass-produced portable launch systems. They're hanging their hat on the fact that they had less time before their orbital launch capacity compared to SpaceX, Rocket Lab, and Virgin Orbit. And you can see that they already have 5 government customers. They have over 100 spacecrafts in backlog, and they have 10 customers already. And they have a $1.2 billion pipeline. As we move down, you can see that they do have some launch revenue expected this year. They're expecting about 3 launches. They're expecting this to really ramp up in the following years. Now, the next stock is Rocket Lab, which is merging, and their ticker right now is VACQ. You can see over the last month, it had gone up to about $14 and then back down about 15%. So this company also has a lot of big clients. You can see they have 18 missions, 97 satellites already, and they're a little bit further along than the last company. You can see that they're projecting revenue of about $35 million for 2020. and they're valued a little bit more expensively, but they're further along in what they're doing already. So the next company is in a little bit of a different area, and that is actually the eVTOL area. So they were around $16. Now they're down about 32%. And this is merging with Joby. So Joby is a company that is trying to get into this eVTOL area. It's basically electric vehicles that are kind of like a helicopter. They can take clients very quickly from place to place, but they're obviously more expensive than something like an Uber. You can see that they already are partnered with the Uber Elevate, and this company is being valued decently high, actually $4.6 billion, as opposed to someone else that it's actually comparable to, which is Archer. It's another company that's in the same space, and this one isn't being valued as high, but it's still being valued at a $3.7 billion pro forma equity value, and it's still, both of these companies are still years away from revenue. They're expecting revenue in 2024 and 2025. Now, another way that you could look is actually into 3D printing. One company is Markforged. So this is another SPAC. You can take a look at it. It's one that ARK Invest has been buying. It's AONE. That's a SPAC ticker. And then another one is NNDM. I know a lot of people are looking at both of these. So something that's interesting about the 3D printing space is what NASA's talk about here, which is the fact that a lot of these astronauts need to be able to resupply, and it really doesn't make a lot of sense when they're on the moon or Mars to have resupply missions. This can take way too long, it could be way too difficult, it could be really expensive. So they're thinking that 3D printing technology could be the answer. Who actually makes the 3D printers for NASA or some of these other companies? We don't really know who will be the winner in this space, but these are just two companies that I've looked at that a lot of other people are looking at too. Then we also have BlackSky, which is a company I've been investing in a lot. They're kind of like a Palantir of space. You can see that they have $22 million already in revenue. They're expecting this to double over the following years, pretty much every year. You can see that they're at $10.45. It's a company that I really liked. I picked it up a lot around the 10.30 range. They already have contracts with the U.S. Army, U.S. Air Force, and so on. Then the last one I want to take a look at is AST Space Mobile. This is under the ticker NPA. This is a company that I held onto for a while. I sold it. I made a little bit of a profit, but they already have some strategic investors that are really important, like Vodafone, Rakuten, American Tower, Samsung Next. They are trying to create a 5G network anywhere you need to go. It's going to be one of those companies, I think, that either does wonderfully, they're either like a 10x stock, or they do terrible long term. So definitely one that you can take a look at. I've done full videos on this one before too. ARK owns some of these already. Others of these they have not bought yet, but these are all stocks that could be included. These are all stocks that I think are really interesting, even if they're not included. Now, I'm not invested in all of these, but I'm probably invested in about half of them if you guys want to take a look. So definitely check these out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you guys want to check out the link down below to WeBull to get some free stocks, or to BlockFi to get an interest rate on your cryptocurrency and get a bonus up to $250, definitely check that out. If you guys want to see the Patreon too, the link is down below. There I tell what I'm buying and what I'm selling in real time and give them market updates and answer questions. And there's a community of over 4,000 people in there, so definitely check that out if you're interested. Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.